any of the stocks. And then definitely he's in sync with the way, somebody would want to look at a banking heavy kind of a portfolio to go forward.
Right. So the good thing also, Prakash, is of course that it doesn't look like he's losing out too much money on any of them. So let's get right to dissecting his portfolio then in greater detail and pick up the first three stocks that he's got. Like you mentioned, let's start with the banking names first up. A State Bank of India and IOB at about 86.75 and an Allahabad Bank where he's in the money. What would you recommend him?
Yeah, I would believe the small quantities that he has of IOB and Allahabad Bank could probably move out of those even at current levels if it's fine, and switch into an SBI, because SBI definitely, of course, he's bought it at much lower than current prices, but SBI has enough headroom. I see SBI actually looking at the 2200 plus territory maybe by the end of the next quarter itself. So once things start improving for SBI, they'll improve for all the banks. And it makes sense to move out of these two small banks and, allocate more money to the SBI stock.
Okay, so Srinivas, Prakash is of course recommending that you stay away from these mid-cap names and try to allocate more money to a State Bank of India where he's looking at a target of 20 to 30. Move on to the next set of stocks that he's got, a South Indian Bank which he's picked up at about 27 odd, and Alembic Pharma as well as the Bharti Airtel. Now, Bharti is of course looking a bit expensive given the current valuations.
That's true, Megha. He's probably bought it at in the good old days when Bharti was ruling the roost. But I recommend, at current levels, Bharti is going through a little bit of a dual impact. One is a systemic issue which is there for the entire telecom sector. The second is, of course, Bharti's own issues in terms of growth. But at 260 whereabouts, Bharti is a very valuable buy. And if he were to average out, and possibly he could then exit at a higher level of 325, where on the overall basis he'll make profits. That could be a much more sound strategy.
Right, and what about the other two, a South Indian Bank as well as Alembic?
Right, South Indian Bank was the only small bank that I recommend a hold on, because A, he would lose money if he were to exit at this point in time significantly in percentage basis. And secondly, it does have the propensity to move up as, things improve for the banking sector as a whole. It's one of the smarter banks, out of the lot. And I believe the way gold prices are, holding firm, South Indian Bank, a lot of people don't understand, but has a lot of gold loan portfolio, which is, in fact, much smarter, much bigger than even a Muthoot or, a Manappuram in certain respects. So I would definitely keep a hold on that and probably exit at higher levels of about 28. And Alembic, of course, is doing very well. I believe higher levels of about 72, given the kind of, new initiatives that the company's taken. It's already into a positive momentum of sorts, but he could fetch a price of almost 72 if he were to hold on for another 3 to 6 months.
Okay, so the fundamentals are looking strong for a South Indian Bank as well as an Alembic Pharma. But let's discuss, his solitary IT pick then, which is a KPIT Cummins, which he's picked up at a level of close to 120 odd, as well as India Cements at 89. What do you make of these two?
Well, KPIT Cummins is, of course, a very smart pick. And for the right reasons. They've done extremely well in a particular niche which relates to automobile, solutions, which very few companies are good at. And they've marched ahead, done very well. They paid out quite a bit of returns to investors. And at that, I'm assuming this purchase is at the adjusted level. I believe if you were to continue holding a price target of 155 according to the guidance itself, which has come from the management, should be possible. So that's definitely a hold. Of course, the other one is also like, so you're talking about Suzlon, India Cements. India Cements is definitely not, one of the top picks as far as what we've seen in the cement pack go, but it does have headroom. There were issues related to, their holding in the IPL business, but I think, given the kind of news flow that we've seen, India Cement has not been able to participate in the rally, but once it does, an up move of another 20-25 rupees from current levels should be possible. So our levels of exit would be recommended 108.
Okay, so stay invested in a KPIT Cummins as well as India Cement. Let's talk about the last two stocks that he's got then, a Suzlon as well as a Taj GVK. I believe you did mention earlier that you weren't too happy with the Taj GVK.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at systemically today, hospitality as a sector, as an industry is not something which is having the best of its time, thanks to the kind of steep real estate and low traffic that we see. And it's typically acceptable in a slowing economy, but Taj GVK is still better off than quite a few. So I would recommend that before things worsen, you could probably have an exit, book a loss maybe, use that money to allocate an average in certain cases, which I've recommended earlier. Whereas Suzlon is a very different kettle of fish. I mean, they tried doing a lot of debt restructuring. They were not able to do it. The results have been really bad. The stock has got hammered out of shape. But I think at these levels, the worst is factored in. And at 17 rupees, if you were to buy in, he could average out and then get a chance to exit at 21, which would be his composite, slightly better than his composite acquisition price, and move out of Suzlon completely once he does that, so that he doesn't have to book a loss by being impatient right now.
Okay, so Srinivas, there you have it. 9 out of 10 is not so bad a score, in fact. So because Prakash is recommending that the only clear exit that he's got is a Taj GVK, but on the other hand, he's also talking about how a State Bank of India is something that you not only hold on to, but increase your exposure to as well, because you could look at a target of 20 to 30 rupees in the long term. Not just that, amongst your other picks then, while the South Indian Bank is also emerging as a clear hold, you could expect a target of 28 rupees, and Alembic Pharma as well. Hold on to that investment. 72 rupees is on the cards for that name. Bharti Airtel, on the other hand, though of course you picked it up at a slightly expensive number, you could look at averaging out your investment and overall expect a target of about 325 in the next few months. KPIT Cummins is also a hold call coming in for a target of about 155 rupees, and India Cements as well is an investment that you should hold on to for a target of 108. Suzlon, another counter that Prakash is recommending that you average out, and you could look at booking out of this counter at about a level of 21 rupees, but a Taj GVK, of course, was an exit call coming in from Prakash. But do remember then, not just Srinivas, but all the viewers who've tuned into the show, that the portfolio that's been recommended here, it's a model portfolio. So please consult your individual investment advisor before taking any investment decisions. Okay, time for us to take a very quick break on the show then, but come right back because we'll be getting you trading ideas from our two experts on the other side.
Imagine a car with a high fuel efficiency, spacious interiors, in a sleek body, with dynamic design and a premium touch. Presenting the Neo Fluidic Elantra, your signature of success.
Hyundai, the platform that has redefined success for SMEs, gets ready to usher in a new era of business achievement. ET now presents India Mart Leaders of Tomorrow Awards. Win the biggest award for excellence in the SME sector and an opportunity to be on ET Now and a chance to win an international leadership program. Send us your entries demonstrating your business success potential. Brought to you by India Mart.
Good to have you back with us on BNSN Weekend. Of course, not just stocks and portfolios, but we also give you a heads up on the week ahead. So time to get you trading ideas from our two experts. Hey, man, let's go across to you first, because on the benchmarks, though, not much happened through the week. But what is it that you're betting on for the week ahead?
I think 5410 has been a bugbear for the markets, Megha. So in the futures, doesn't look like happening at least on Tuesday, but once that happens, I think the markets could go further. I have two stock ideas, both are buy calls. I have a buy on Aditya Birla Nuvo at around 800 with a stop loss of 770 and a target of 860. The second one is a buy call on Biocon Megha at around buy at 243 with a stop loss of 236 and a target of 257. These are shorter term calls, Megha, valid for probably 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Right. So, Hemant, give us some more details about why you're initiating these fresh longs in a Biocon as well as AB Nuvo. What have you spotted on the chart patterns?
Yes, I think Biocon has given an upward key reversal on the weekly chart. There is a failure swing by the stochastics, the MACD, the buy mode. The stock moved from 215 to 255 odd. We've seen a zigzag correction, 230, 250, 238 again. So we finished a zigzag correction. It's in a triangle formation. I assume there's going to be an upward breakout coming in over there. And in terms of Aditya Birla Nuvo Omega, stock looks extremely solid. It's spent the last 1.5 to 2 months taking support on around 760. We've been moving sideways for quite some time. It's just about closing above the 55-day exponential moving average. Once again, buy on the MACD on the weeklies, failure swing by the stochastic on the weeklies, set for an upward breakout. The breakout hasn't yet occurred, Mega, but I think we're on this verge. So notwithstanding what's happened today, I think Aditya Birla Nuvo also looks good enough for a buy.
Okay, so technical indicators, of course, giving a thumbs up to an AB Nuvo. So let's move on then and get you some more investment ideas then, Prakash. What is it that you've got for us?
Well, Megha, the first stock that I would like to bring focus on to is Hindalco. It's a great company. It's a stock that's part of all your benchmark indices, but has underperformed the indices for quite some time. In fact, at times it's been trading at below its own book value. And it happens to stocks which are part of a more cyclical industry like metals. And thanks to the softness that we see in commodities and particularly metals, Hindalco has taken the brunt of it. There's an overall slowdown in demand, and that's impacted Hindalco. But what's changing now, and the reason I want to bring this out is worldwide, automobiles are expected to start depending a lot on using the intake of aluminium vis-a-vis steel in all the components, and that's because the stringent norms that we see, particularly from the US and the European markets for emission, lighter vehicles which aluminium manages to produce actually bring down emission, output. So what happens is that's favorable for the government, that's favorable for the industry, and aluminium will eventually start, actually replacing steel wherever it's possible.
Prakash, you have another trading investment idea rather for us.
Right, Megha. The other one is, more of a momentum play, and that's Apollo Tyres. We've already seen, the tire segment, have a lot of these headwinds related to the CCI order, but I think that's been slightly overhyped. Whereas if you look at the drop in rubber prices, which is a mainstay input for tire companies, and for specifically Apollo, it's almost 65% of raw material cost. Since the beginning of May, the first week of May, rubber prices internationally have dropped about 30%. And that translates into a huge benefit on the EPS. So I think given that situation, Apollo Tyres is a big buy. At the current levels, without changes in top line, it could actually start benefiting tremendously on the bottom line. Sure. I would give it a target of about 111, 112 from current levels.
Okay, those were 4 buying ideas coming your way from Himen as well as Prakash. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being with us, of course. But with that, we'd wrap it up right here on BNSN Weekend. Thanks very much for tuning in.
Once upon a time, a thirsty crow decided to quench his thirst, but he just couldn't reach the water. Then he tried something smarter, and the crow reached his goal.
So, Daddy, is thinking differently smarter?
Always, son.
Save smarter with recurring savings plan from Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
The best part about Vodafone Drive into the big league was the amount of good publicity it got me. While industry leaders were noticing my business on TV, my peers were noticing me. Clients were calling, and I was the talk of the town. It feels good to get noticed. Now it's your turn.
Vodafone Drive into the Big League is back with Season 2. Win a chance to put your logo on the Vodafone McLaren Mercedes car. Register now.
There are two ends of technology. One where it's built. The other where it works. From wind turbines that light up people's homes, to healthcare innovations that help save lives. At GE, we know our technology truly works when it works for India.